Welcome back to Weekend Warrior Workshop DIY, where we get things done. I'm so glad you joined me on this video. Today we're going to cover how I built and installed these drawer slides for the 3 compartments in this storage unit here. So if that interests you, stick around. Alright, so I went ahead and built this frame last weekend. Big shout out to Speed and Chrome for helping me put this together. We welded this up in design to be able to hang some compartments that slide out, similar to like building a drawer sideways and then putting a shelf across, so you can have 2 shelves in there. So after we build it, it'll probably make a little more sense. But what we need to focus on now is being able to mount this frame up. So I have some leftover. It was an old bed frame I had saved, and so I cut it up. It's like an angle iron material, so I cut that up. We welded the drawer slides to that in the spots that I needed it at. And what I need to do now is this front piece was built 18.5 inches off of the back, and that's because in the opening on that cabinet up above there's a 2x4 that's framed in up top, and that's 18.5 inches from the back of the cabinet. And so that way this piece of angle iron can slide up in there and then be able to be bolted or lag bolted into that. Now the back piece, I don't have any framing up there. So what I did is set it at 2.5 inches from the back to give me room to put some material behind there to be able to, again, bolt into that from the underneath part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mill up some 2x4 here. I want to be able to put 2x4s along the sides and then screw that into studs on the sides and do similar to like a half lap joint on that, so that then the cross piece that goes across that bolts into this frame kind of half laps into the 2x4s on each side. So probably not doing a very good job explaining that, but let me go ahead and cut up the pieces. I'll mill it up and then I'll set it up here, mock it up out here on the workbench so you can see what I'm referring to. So let's get these pieces cut up and get to milling. Alright, so I just want to talk a little bit about what I was doing right there. I was milling up these. This is just a regular 2x4 you can get at a big box store, any type of lumber yard. Now 2x4 is not actually 2 inches by 4 inches, more like 1.5 by 3.5. So I'll show you here. So it's more like 3.5 inches by 1.5. So if you notice, they round over the corners here. And so it's nice in construction, probably less splinters for people doing construction work. But I'm just taking regular lumber, and I want to make it a little nicer looking. Plus, I'm going to be doing some joinery. So what I ended up doing was trimming off a 1/4 inch pretty much from each side. And it gives me that real nice square look there. You know, you could see the 1/4 inch trimmed off of each side. And then I ran through the table saw about half and half on each side. And you can see it trimmed off just a little bit from there. And what that does is gives me a really nice square piece of lumber. to work with here. And so this ends up being 1.25 inches by 3 inches, which is plenty of material for what I need. And so at the end of the day, what I need to do is have these side rails mounted in the cabinet on each side, and some kind of butt joint, with this being 2.5 inches back. But if I set it there and just put some screws or nails, then I'm putting a lot of pressure on the shear points of those screws and nails. So screws, it's a harder material, but the shear factor of a screw, since it's such a hard, brittle material, screws can easily snap off, and nails have a higher shear point. However, you know, that's a lot of shear weight that's going to be on those. Say if you got 2 or 3 nails in there, that's going to be a lot of weight in there. So if I notch out a material half of the width here, which will be 1.5 inches, so 1.5 inches back, I'll take 1.5 inches in and notch out this material on each side. Then do the same on this, where it'll actually go into the material, and half of this material will be gone, will interlock there. And so that'll actually give me a really nice strong joint. I can put some wood glue in there and some brad nails to hold it. That'll be a much stronger joint and take a lot more weight than if I were to put those you know, 2 or 3 nails in there. So my shear factor is going to be on this 3-inch material at that point, which goes down to 1.5 inches. So 1.5 inches with a lot of surface wood glue in there, that's going to be a much stronger joint. So I'll be much more happy with putting the weight on that. So I wanted to cover that wide. All right, so as you can see, I've notched out that piece there. I've notched out this piece, and so what you end up doing is they just half lap into each other, and it creates, you know, nice tight, not as a nice tight joint, but the weight of that will be resting on this 2x4. So when this piece here is mounted into the studs, so if I screw it into the studs there, get a nice tight connection to the wall on each side, then this piece is set in there on top, slid down, glued in there, and it's going to create a nice tight half lap joint here, and a lot of weight will then be able to be mounted to that. So when I take this frame and that angle iron gets attached in here, then this will be able to take a lot of down weight from this frame, because it's going to have 3 different compartments hanging from it. What we have here is I have that frame that I need to get in here, and the drawer slides at the very top of them need to be no higher than this. They're going to rest up against the top of this. So that angle iron then comes off here and then gets screwed into this. So what I want to do is make sure and find the level mark for this front piece all the way here in the back. So I'm setting a level on the top of this, and then I'm going to mark on the wall right here. So by doing that, setting a level here, marking that back corner, then I can make a level line across here and be able to mount off of that, so that I know that this mark back there is level with this front corner. All right, so I have this piece that I need to set in there, and I marked the top here and the right side, so that this notch that I made, this cross piece will sit in there. If I put it like that, then you know, I'm doing the opposite effect of what I was trying to accomplish. So I need to make sure this notch is on top. So I'm going to set this corner on that mark, set my torpedo level on this, and that way I know this piece is mounted nice and level. All right, so really quickly before I screw this in, I have a mark back there that I marked in the corner that I have level with this front piece, and I set the 2x4, used to be 2x4 material, now it's a 1.25 by 3, on that mark, the bottom of it on that mark, and then put the torpedo level on top, make sure that bore's level, and now I can go ahead and mount it into the studs that are in the wall here. So I will put those in. And I'll tell you what, if I could actually do a pull-up, I'd be able to do one off of that wall, off of that board. That is in there, it is solid, and that's gonna take a lot of weight. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so excited we have this frame up there installed. It's nice and secure. And to come back next time, we're gonna build the 3 compartments for this. We'll be able to wrap up this storage unit and then move on to the next steps in the master bathroom. So if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button, as well as the bell notification. It'll notify you next time I post a video covering this next part. So with that, thanks for watching and have a great day.